Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Spot the plot, Daniel Bean, Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Not the easiest one, I guess.
No, it's not.
In a movie that gives it all away in the title crawl.
Yeah, literally the first line of the title crawl.
So basically it follows on. It doesn't really specify a time period after the last one.
No.
Where effectively, can I say about...
Yeah, I suppose you can. It's all in the
title crawl.
It's all in the title crawl and it's all in the trailers and stuff. Yeah. And it was that.
So obviously the biggest mystery around Rise of Skywalker was obviously the voice of Palpatine. The opening title crawl gives it away.
Yeah.
It
references the message.
A message being broadcast. Broadcast. Yeah. There's the word. Yeah. A bit rusty because we haven't done one of these. Yeah. Basically advising the return of Palpatine. And both sides, the First Order and the Resistance, are effectively looking for him.
They're like, fuck this.
We need to get this fucker dead.
Yeah.
And they basically both go on their ways to find him, whilst Rey is still training to become a Jedi. And Kylo Ren continues to his inner battle of who is
whilst being supreme leader.
Am I still edgy boy? Yeah. Or am I less edgy boy?
Or am I good boy?
Yeah. I think that's really the plot is. The plot is quite simplistic.
Yeah.
It's basically National Treasure, but in space.
It's a lot of find a thing, go to another place, find another thing.
Do this thing, find the thing, but the thing's here because you also need this thing and this thing. And
it's like a video game, isn't it? It's like Fetch Quests. It's like a film.
Yeah, it's Fetch Quest the movie. Star Wars Fetch Quest.
Rise of Fetch Quests. Yeah. I think coming out of it, I was quite negative about it, not enjoying it. But the more I've thought about it since seeing it, I think some of those negative things have gone away, and I think I quite enjoyed it. But I definitely need to see it again soon, just to confirm that. What did you think of it compared to Last Jedi?
I actually prefer it to Last Jedi.
Yeah, I think
I'm the same. A few people I spoke to are very much the other way around. A couple of guys who I work with really liked Last Jedi because they thought it was something different. And didn't like this one so much because it undid a lot of what that did.
Very much so. This film goes out of its way a lot to
it very much is J.J. Abrams had his vision and he wanted his vision out there.
Which is why I wonder why they didn't give him the trilogy, because I think it would have flowed a lot.
You have to remember, and I always forget this, they didn't give him 9 to begin with.
No, I know. But I just think, what would it have been like if Colin Trevorrow would have done it? You know?
I reckon they should have had 3 directors or 4 directors write their pitch for 3 movies. And they pick the best one and make the 3 movies.
What, so they make a pitch for a trilogy?
Yeah.
And they make that trilogy.
You have pitching meetings when you pitch a movie. People go in with their ideas. It's well broadcast. You like the elevator pitch. You've got an elevator pitch to sell them why you should be considered to make the next Star Wars trilogy.
You got to do it quick.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that I would rather discuss, maybe in spoilers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. It's not really a spoiler. But it's basically, I watched a review which Luke put me onto, and actually I think it was just put down in the most perfect way.
Okay.
This Star Wars showed us nothing new.
No. Well, no.
It rehashed everything we've seen before.
Yeah.
And you look at the original trilogy, it is about a individual from a desert planet who becomes a Jedi. The prequels, it's about a little boy from a desert planet who becomes a Jedi. This trilogy is about a person from a desert planet who becomes a fucking Jedi.
Yeah, this is true.
Which is the same story 3 times. And we've been duped into it every time.
It was very... I don't...
And what makes it worse is that they dangle the carrot of... And they do it right early on in the movie. It's the first part of The Force Awakens. You have a stormtrooper, which you've never seen before, have second thoughts about carrying on what his mission is, rebels, helps a guy escape, and decides, I'm fighting for the wrong team. And instead of focusing the arc on that, which is the more interesting story, by the way...
They go back to Jedi
They went back to laser swords.
Yeah.
And I get, Jedis are cool as fuck. And I'm not going to say they're not. They're like samurais who cut through each other like this.
Butter, yeah.
And why not have it be the person who was enslaved into being a bad person, realised no matter how much his conscience... he fought against it, he just could not be a bad person.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, we'll talk about it more in spoilers because, obviously, there's hints towards other things.
Yeah.
And they throw him away in the 8th movie. They have nothing to do. They've almost ruined his entire character in the 8th movie.
Basically,
and almost kill him off.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets salvaged in the end. I'm happy where he ended up.
Yeah, me too.
From his A to B, his actual journey, like, start to end.
Fucked.
The start and the end is good. The middle is just a bit...
Yeah. I just think it is a bit like...
It's like Poe Dameron. His beginning and end, where you first see him and where he ends up, really good.
Because even the stuff that they built up in Poe Dameron in 8, like, oh, he needs to learn to be, like, more cool-headed, not rush into things, they just sort of throw that away in this one as well. He doesn't seem like he's learned anything from that. He's still just going into stuff, like, they don't really touch on a lot that's done in 8, and anything they do, they sort of undo in like, small measures. But I just think it definitely feels like 3 separate movies continued on to try and make a story. It definitely feels like a film that's trying to wrap up 9 completely different films.
Where this film falls down, and I think we said it straight away, come out the cinema, is that J.J. Abrams basically took the masking tape out and he was like, I gotta tape over some shit.
Yeah.
I gotta retcon
And that happens, like,
a lot.
Quite heavy-handed as well in some instances. Like, they make it obvious. Like,
some of the lines,
doing.
like, to curve it, were really good.
Yeah.
Like the one about Ray's lineage.
Yeah.
I like the way that he said, like, your parents were no one because they chose to be no ones because of who they were.
Yeah.
It was...
It's like the certain point of view stuff that Obi-Wan pulled in episode 6. It's like, what I told you was true. Like, Vader did kill your father from a certain point of view.
Yeah, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But no, but it's a true enough statement when you actually consider what the story is.
Considering it's a retcon, yeah.
No, it's a retcon, and obviously you think of the actual journey that they went through, because obviously if they just were the people they were meant to be, Rey's story is completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Right, out of 10, what would you give it?
5.5, 6. I can't remember what I gave Last Jedi. I feel like it was lower.
I think I'm resting 6.
Whatever I gave Last Jedi, plus maybe 1.5.
Yeah. I think I'm resting on about a 6 for this one, you know. Because I think the difference between The Last Jedi and this is The Last Jedi, I think, delves into more, like, ideological things, makes you think a bit more, conceptually.
Yeah.
This one is more, like, action-paced, like, very fast-paced. Yeah. Things are happening. Don't think about it, don't think about it, end. And I don't know, I like those two elements, but I think this film did too much of one. Last Jedi did too much of the other.
I'll tell you what, one thing that this film has really brought out in me, and it's the realization that we were born in the wrong decade.
Why'd you say that? Because
I legitimately saw a guy, I went yesterday, there's a guy in there, he must have been about 45. Like, I'd say, like, he was about 10 when the first one came out. Like, not prime age to watch it. And I've not seen anything like it. The bit where Lando Calrissian first comes on screen, he fucking lit up. It was like he was a kid again. Like, the guy was literally, like, in the seat, like, like audibly, like, come on, like, this is the coolest thing ever.
I feel like we would have felt that if, like, certain prequel characters showed up, though.
Exactly.
To be fair, you know?
This was like,
that was like the
this is like his, like,
big cameo.
This is his childhood coming back to him. And, like, you could see him, like, living through it. Whereas we grew up with the prequels, which were, like, based way too long before for anybody else to show up.
Yeah, for this one, yeah. That's true. I think if that was,
it's like
the other way around.
Not that it would happen, but, like, if like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, Ewan McGregor appeared somehow, I think I'd been like, oh, that's cool as fuck.
This is why I'm excited to see him in the TV show for Disney Plus, because I'm going to be like...
It's because, like, with Solo, we went, like, obviously we were on about that just beforehand. The Darth Maul thing. Darth Maul is, like, easily one of the coolest thing about the prequels. Yeah. And I seen him in Solo. It was kind of like, I don't really get why you're back, but it's kind of cool that you're back.
Yeah. And then people who knew what was going on is like, why have you brought him back? We know what happens to him. Yeah.
But I wasn't, because I don't know, I don't watch Clone Wars, I don't watch Rebels.
50-50 thing, yeah. But yeah, basically, budget-wise, it had a budget of between $250 and $300 million. Fuck. So far, it's opening weekend only, I suppose. So far, opening weekend, worldwide, $375, give or take.
$375?
Million.
$375
million.
Scenes.
But that's the issue. Like, you've got to think 300 million, double that for marketing, 600 million.
It did very bad in China.
It's not going to make... Do you think it's not going to make anywhere near like Last Jedi and Force Awakens?
No,
Do you think it'll break $1 billion like the other two did? Do you think people are too burnt out?
No.
Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership.
Just go to audibletrial.com/regulartalkpod and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download the title free and start listening.
It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/regulartalkpod.